All right, John, how does one go about changing the IP address of a vSAN cluster, re-IPing, so to speak?
So this is something I've had to do. Ideally in a perfect world, you identify what VLAN or broadcast domain you're going to put a vSAN cluster on for the vSAN VM kernel ports. You're going to configure them, and then you're never going to touch them again until that cluster needs to be retired. But there are different reasons why people like to re-IP networks. Different rules. Everything's got to move to IPv6, or maybe that we're trying to conserve or harvest VLANs for future generations as a non-renewable resource. So for that reason, you may need to re-IP a cluster. So what does this look like with vSAN itself? So typically the process to follow is go check out KB 76162. And the process of this is you create an additional VM kernel port that's on the new broadcast domain. So you go create a port group, attach it to that, tag that VLAN, attach a new VM kernel port, tag it also for vSAN in this case. And then you would, once you go through, you basically remove the old VM kernel ports and clean that out in that config. And this KB outlines this process for how you do this. It's not dissimilar from how you might use manually to failover of which path a port group uses if you're retiring a switch. Do note this is not really something you want to be in a long-term configuration for, and do be aware some features like HCI mesh do not support multiple VM kernel ports. So you may have some issues there, but this is a process that you can, so to speak, change the engine while the card is running. And this is something that's been documented in addition to the KBs and blogs and things like that. Miles Gray has a blog that he wrote many years ago from a process that he was doing actually when he was, a vSAN customer. So, but do feel free, if you have any questions, reach out to support on any of these types of migrations or any of these processes.
Yeah, I think that last bit there, about reaching out to support, just in case if you want to make sure that you're doing everything right, it is a very prudent step in those cases because you are looking at to make an adjustment that impacts the communication of these hosts that make up your vSAN cluster. So, it's conceivable that if you do things wrong, you could have some sort of a cluster partition or something of that nature, and you just want to be very diligent in those steps. So it sounds like that if our customers just follow the KB, then they'll be in really good shape.